this today, and nor with the mayor. So I'm filling in and happy to do so.
It was almost, you got that close.
Can I get an approval of the minutes?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the minutes have been approved. We're gonna jump right into our department comments, and we'll start with Mr. Junkin and Mr. Williams.
This is the trailer park out in Alberta off of Virginia Drive. They've made significant improvements. If it's all right with y'all, I'd like to give them at least another 30, possibly 60 more days to try to get them other two trailers out of there, and we can call this one done.
They've done a bunch.
They
Yes.
really have. They got all that. So you think 60 days will be better?
I hope.
I don't think he'll.
You know, they're making slow progress, but they're making progress.
You can't even hardly see these when you ride by.
No, sir.
That's what it's called.
I mean, they're 200 yards off the main road.
Okay, so 30 more days, or 60?
60.
60, just give, so they ain't gotta be coming back and forth.
As you
So-
said, aren't they doing it themselves?
Yes, sir, by hand.
Oh, wow. They got rid of a lot of them already. Listen, clean up big in Ghana, they do it by hand.
Okay,
Now, the owners will not be here tonight, so it'll just be us up and down.
okay,
All right, thank y'all.
Thank you.
all right. Mr. Mills?
All right, good afternoon, council. We just have one application tonight. It's the Snack Group LLC, DBA Sunshine Food Mart One. They're applying for retail beer off premises, retail table wine off premises, located at 4822 Skyland Boulevard East. It's going right between that Burger King and close to Cracker Barrel is that location.
That's you?
That's change of ownership?
No, sir. They were approved early in the year, but they didn't.
show up.
Well, and early in the year they didn't meet the deadline with the ABC board, so they had to go back through the whole process again. And so it was tabled the last time we had council.
Okay. Any more questions for Mr. Mills?
I'm good.
All right. All right, Mr. Thompson?
When I was a policeman, they gave me free coffee.
They freak out.
They had to send me 3 o'clock in the morning.
I know that's right. Get up now, freak out, whatever you want.
So this is just the incentive proposal that Mr. Pate presented 2 weeks ago for Guthrie's and Mr. Lanier's district. He's unfortunately not going to be able to make it tonight. So if you have any questions, just let me know. If you want me to run through the presentation, I'm more than happy to
the
do
same?
that also. It's the exact same.
It's the same. You good.
Okay. Yep, we good.
All right. Thank you.
All
Appreciate
right.
it.
Seems pretty simple today. Mr. Gardner?
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it. Did I just jinx it?
All right, so what we have is a, all right, so operator error.
We need
I
an
think I
engineer.
jinxed it, yeah.
See that?
See there, I broke it. All right, this is a street vacation up in the yacht club. Sooner Place Northeast is a little short cul-de-sac. There's 6 lots around it that never were developed. One person has come in and bought all 6 lots. He wants to vacate the street and basically build his house where the cul-de-sac is because that's the most level spot.
Okay.
So he
there's,
wants to make it private. Wouldn't say
Yeah.
vacate it, I mean, it's
Yeah.
currently a city street that we would,
yeah, we're relinquishing our rights to. And I'm assuming, speculating that he'll remove the road in its entirety and build him a residential driveway basically in that location. And then where the cul-de-sac is basically where the house will sit. The big circle.
Is that impeding anybody else? Any other neighbors?
No, sir. The single landowner owns all of the
But
property.
he'll have to pay taxes on all
This
that
is
property.
yours?
Right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's not like, okay.
Yeah.
He can afford it, I'm for it.
Okay. No other questions, nothing else, Mr. Gardner? All right, Mr. Pons.
We've got one annexation for y'all tonight. This is at 11955 Grandview Drive, and this can be adopted following unanimous consent tonight. So you can see this is pretty north in the city, adjacent to Lake Tuscaloosa. Here's the property. It's by Cherokee Shores, Lakeview Estate. I think that's kind of the neighborhoods around there. The framework policies that you guys look at are here if we want to reach them or want to look at them, but we don't have to. But they're just annexing in order to get access to city schools. They are aware that once they annex in, they're not going to be getting out of the city once their kids graduate or anything like that. There were no.
We did alter that paperwork.
Yes, sir.
Where they're signing that they understand.
Yes, sir.
That the chances are very, I guess the council could still let them be.
They could, definitely.
But the likelihood
But for
that's
the
very,
most part.
very small.
That's right.
You're locked now.
Just wanted to-
Tax money.
That's pretty much it. So,
So could you
That
go
is
back, could you go back to the big view?
That's the.
yes, sir.
No.
Hmm.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. This one or the?
so
Okay.
everything, it's contiguous, is that right?
So it is. So there's Lake Tuscaloosa. It's adjacent to Lake Tuscaloosa, and that outlined red parcel there is what's being annexed.
Are the
Just
other
a
houses?
single family home, nothing else. So you can see here, this is the city limits.
They're in Norfolk.
Okay.
So they're in planning jurisdiction. All the other properties around there are in our planning jurisdiction as well.
So they're doing this basically for the school system purposes. So with that being so close to other homes, what if the other homes had students? Like, do they automatically get that service on the
So
bus?
any city adjacent to the city limits can annex into the city, or can request to annex into the
So
city.
but they still have to annex.
And so that includes all of Lake Tuscaloosa. So anything that touches Lake Tuscaloosa
They're
can
gonna-
request to annex. So
It's just not automatic,
Cause
just because they're
it's
close.
zoned, I think, to north side.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure
It's on
out.
north
They're,
side.
yeah.
they're zoned for north side.
So
Okay.
we've seen a lot. Most of the ones that are
Wow.
adjacent to Lake Tuscaloosa try and annex in for city schools.
They're going north side.
It's a long way away.
Okay,
That's
alright.
it. Thanks.
You gonna try to get all of them?
All of them. They're voters too.
Yeah,
I heard he was running for city council.
Yeah.
Who's that? That person?
Yeah.
Not that guy.
You still want that one?
Well,
Okay.
I don't know, he may be smarter than me.
Always a thought.
Not taking a lot. Doesn't take much.
Stop. Well, you did go to county high, so that makes sense.
Oh, wow.
I'll take a shot. Cash it.
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna have to appeal to the council
You
president.
could have went to Hillcrest.
I know, right? I know.
Did
I
you
mean, you
hear?
could have went to Hillcrest like Tony. You've been
Did you hear?
showing up.
I'm gonna have to appeal to the queen up here.
Hey.
She's gonna gavel you down.
I just wanna make sure you knew what you were doing. All right, so, no mayor's comments. Ms. Johnson, any board appointments today?
Yeah, I've got two actually. So the first one, you guys have a packet in front of you guys for the Ability Alliance of West Alabama. They actually have reached out, as you can see in that letter. One of their board members, Miss Marty Barrett, has resigned. And they are requesting that Sean Mobbs replace her to fill her unexpired term that expires on April 1st of 2026. In that packet, they did give a short bio in that letter, but in that packet, you also have a copy of his resume.
I don't have any.
Disability.
Yeah, for West Alabama, right? I don't have any objections or concerns about this one.
I'm proud people serve.
Okay.
Okay. And then the next one, you guys have a little cheat sheet in front of you. This is for the National Airport Advisory Committee. We have 4 members that have terms that have expired. They all have expressed a desire to be reappointed. I have also confirmed with Jeff Powell that they are excellent members for this board. If it is okay with you all, we can go ahead and have an ordinance on next week's agenda reappointing them.
These folks have done so much work. I do good job to look it up.
And I don't know anyone else that wants to serve on this committee, so.
Good.
Everybody agree with that?
All right, that's all I have.
All right, well, thank you so much. Mr. Holmes.
Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon.
All right, I am just above number 8 there, where on page 25 you'll be setting the cost for demolition of the structure at 2833 22nd Street and authorizing the filing of a lien. On page 26, you'll be confirming the appointment of Kyle South as a voting member of the Tuscaloosa County Road Improvement Commission. That comes from my office. He was appointed by the chamber as their representative. We're just required to confirm that. On page 27, you'll be authorizing a contract with ESCAL Institute of Advanced Technologies, DBA Sands Institute, and declaring a bid law exemption pursuant to 41-16-51A15. This is a total of $19,375 and comes to us from the IT department. On page 28.
Scott, why is it a bid law exemption?
Let me look at what that exception is. My guess would be that's probably security infrastructure, but if you'll give me just a second, I can double check. We'll come back to that. Hudson behind me here is going to pull up that specific provision of the bid law exemption, and I'll answer that when we get wrapped up here. On page 28, you'll be authorizing a contract with Morrow Repair Services, LLC, and declaring a bid law exemption pursuant to Alabama Code 41-16-51B7. This is a total of $27,285, and this is a water and sewer project. I assume that is a critical infrastructure, but I'll ask Mr. Cheshire to check that subsection as well. On page 29, you'll be authorizing a contract with Andritz Separation, Inc., and declaring a bid law exemption pursuant to that same subsection. That is for $26,416.60. On page 30, you'll be authorizing a contract with Shepherd Services, declaring a bid law exemption pursuant again to that subsection B7. That is for $23,547.14. On page 31, you'll be authorizing a contract renewal with Team Dynamics Solutions for software purchase and implementation. That's a not to exceed $18,316.71 in year 1, $19,135.86 in year 2, $19,995.86 in year 3. You heard that in projects on the 27th. On page 32, you'll be authorizing a professional services contract with Jones Media Productions. That's a total not to exceed $30,000 and was in projects on the 27th. On page 33, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment to the municipal agency funding contract with Tuscaloosa County Economic Development Authority. That is a total addition of $22,000 and was in finance on the 27th. On page 34 through 38, you'll be authorizing a reimbursement pursuant to the United States Treasury Regulation Section 1.150-2. This is part of the initial 2024 B bond preparation that we discussed in the water sewer capital plan last week, or on the 27th, I'm sorry. On page 37 through 40, you'll be authorizing certain actions with respect to general obligation warrants of the city of Tuscaloosa. Again, that came from finance last week and is part of the potential 2024 B for the water and sewer capital plan. On page 41, you'll be authorizing amendment number 1 to the 2022A warrant series budget. That was discussed in Finance Committee on the 27th. On page 42 through 43, you'll be authorizing amendment number 2 to the 2022B warrant series budget. That again was discussed in Finance Committee on the 27th. On pages 44 through 45, you'll be authorizing amendment number 4 to the 2023 Elevate Tuscaloosa Fund budget. That was discussed in Finance Committee last week. That's actually in the incorrect spot on your printed agenda. It will be taken up when we get to ordinances and resolutions of a general and permanent nature and operation. The clerk will just change where she calls for that tonight for the vote.
Okay, so that's on the 44 through 45, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The clerk will just kind of move it down when she calls the votes on those items.
So I'll need a motion to kind of hear that item out of order. So you guys will just make a motion to move it, and then I'll call it at the appropriate time of the meeting.
And you're
And that
gonna,
motion should come at the beginning of the meeting or as we approach that in sequence?
Either way is perfectly fine.
okay, so where do you need to hear it down for adoption?
With the rest of the ordinances, yes.
Under 9.
Okay, gotcha, under 9, okay, gotcha. And so we'll just make the motion when we get to that one to hear, okay.
We're just trying to make it interesting for you tonight, Ms. Howard.
Gotcha.
On page 46 and 47, you'll be authorizing amendment number 5 to the fiscal year 2023 Water and Sewer Reserve for Future Improvements budget. This came from Finance on the 27th. On page 48 and 49, you'll be authorizing amendment number 11 to the fiscal year 2023 General Fund Reserve for Future Improvements budget, and that came from Finance last week. On page 53 through 54, you'll be amending section 22-99 and 22-100 of the Code of Tuscaloosa. On page 55 and 57, you'll be amending section 2-25 of the Code of Tuscaloosa. This came from the finance discussion on the 27th. And on page 58, you'll be authorizing amendment number 16 to the FY23 General Fund budget, and came from the Finance Committee on the 27th. Any questions for me?
Any questions?
We do have 2 topics to discuss in executive session following this meeting.
All right.
Before we close out, Ms. Sanders, I think we've got a relatively short finance committee today. Much of this confusion that we just went through here is attributable to me, but would you be available in finance committee if we want to just review all of that confusion?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you want a long finance committee?
Yeah, I want a long, because
It was too short, right?
Yeah,
Too
short.
good to this
Probably
issue.
quick.
no pain, no gain.
Mr. Busby, I'm sorry, I forgot to answer your question. Number 15 is impact upon security plans, procedures, and assessments. Subsection 7 are for things to be made in the production of a water system.
What?
Water systems.
No, for things to be,
Things that are used, chemicals, things like that, as part of the water utility.
Okay, any more questions or concerns about our agenda? All right, our announcements for today, we have a light day, so please stick around. So back up at 6. Today at 2:30 p.m. we have projects, 3:15 finance, and then of course 6 p.m. for our council meetings. Dates to remember, we have the Historic Preservation Commission meeting in the council chambers on July the 12th at 5 p.m. And then you can always join us Monday night at 5 p.m. for Planning Commission, and we have, I wonder if this is a lunch at 10 a.m. with DCH. Is that a breakfast? No? That's not our usual
No, it's not
meeting.
ours. They're required to not advertise, but they're required to notice it, and we notice it for them.
Okay, gotcha. So those are our dates to remember. Are there any other comments or announcements from the council members or anybody? All right, at this time, we do have 2 items for executive session. All right, so Mr. Holmes.
We need a motion
Oh.
to go into executive session.
Can I have a motion and
So
a
moved.
second? All right.
Yes, ma'am. This is as your city attorney and attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that the topics of discussion for executive session are to discuss with their attorney the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation, controversies not yet being litigated, but imminently likely to be litigated, or imminently likely to be litigated if the governmental body pursues a proposed course of action, and to discuss security plans, procedures, assessments, measures, or systems, or the security or safety of persons, structures, facilities, or other infrastructure, including without limitation information concerning critical infrastructure.
All right. So at this time, we have had a motion and a second for executive session. Anyone that's not a part of this executive session, if you could please